This just in, you guys, CNN just announced hundreds of layoffs, and it looks like the liberals' favorite anchor, Jim Acosta, may be on his way out as well. So President Donald Trump has officially started his second term, and one of legacy media's most prominent critics may be disappearing in the dead of night because of it. You see, there's been reports about Jim Acosta being pitched by CNN CEO Mark Thompson to move him from his 1 hour slot, which is at 10 a.m., to a 2 hour slot beginning at midnight, kind of like giving him the night shift. Now, the way insiders are describing it, this move would effectively exile Jim Acosta to the Siberia of television news. Oh my God. So Thompson has already told more than 100 journalists and top on-air talent, including Jake Tapper and Anderson Cooper, that they ought to avoid prejudging President-elect Donald Trump while cautioning them against expressing any outrage of their own during the inauguration. Now, the way I read it, guys, the CNN boss may be putting these people on notice, especially as this comes right after Thompson announced sweeping changes at the failing network. Now, the biggest of all were these: 200 job cuts and a pivot to a more digital-centric strategy. And yeah, I don't think it's a confidence either that this happens after CNN just lost a major defamation trial against Navy veteran Zachary Young. So CNN basically destroyed his reputation and business by branding him as an illicit profiteer who exploited desperate Afghans during the November 11th, 2021 report that first aired on CNN's The Lead with Jake Tapper. Over a very chaotic trial that was held over 2 weeks in Florida, the jury ruled Young was to be awarded $4 million in lost earnings and $1 million in personal damages, and it also found that punitive damages were warranted against CNN. So is this curtains for CNN? That's what we're going to find out today, so definitely stay right there, you guys. But first, here's CNN anchor Jim Acosta getting owned by Congressman Tim Burchett. Take a look.
Saying this is not Fox, Congressman. You can't just spin a tail and pull the wool over people's eyes.
Yeah.
This is CNN. This is the news. We are asking you to come on and tell the truth.
And that's why more people are watching the Cartoon Network SpongeBob reruns right now, Jim. Look, I left the White House during a riot. My life was threatened. My life has been threatened within the last few weeks, yet there's no coverage of that. And you all continue this narrative attacking Trump. You just can't stand the fact that he won and that America spoke.
Congressman,
and that,
no,
and that your view is very diminished.
That's not the case at all.
And your view is very diminished.
I asked you to come on to ask you about these pardons because they are highly controversial and they could result in people getting hurt. And I think that's a sincere question.
If they break the law, then they go to jail. If they break the law,
went to
then
jail,
they go to
and then
jail.
the president let them out of jail.
Now, this kind of attack on guests is exactly why Jim is seen as the reason why thousands and thousands of Americans voted for Trump, including myself. And then again, you know, it's pretty on brand for the network. Now, I'm just glad that they have someone like Scott Jennings there to call these people out. Here, check this out.
The impact of Elon Musk on the Trump orbit has been really good, and his impact on the country is really good. So I don't know how this is going to turn out. I know these kinds of announcements are important to presidents. These kinds of investments are important to new administrations. But, you know, I would listen to Elon. I mean, he's obviously got some information and some opinions about this. And I don't know how much of this is going to be aired in front of and behind the scenes. But
Elon Musk keeps on overshadowing Donald Trump. I mean, you had in the inauguration that it was the hand gesture, quote unquote, that is the subject of great mystery and debate. Yeah, the subject of great mystery and debate.
Are you talking about, you're not one of these salute truthers, are you?
No, is that what we're calling it now? All I'm saying is, no, but what I'm saying is it engendered a great...
Hey guys, I'm just saying, like, if they lose Scott Jennings, CNN goes down the tubes. Maybe they should give Scott Jennings a raise and make sure he don't leave, right? Because otherwise, Jim Acosta, he's just going to keep costing them more and more viewers with him lecturing Americans like Barack Obama did. Here, check this out.
A moment to talk about something President Biden said during his farewell address. He warned the free press is crumbling in this country. I would add that's only if we, the people, let that happen. Journalists exist to seek the truth, to tell people's stories, to lift up voices that may not be heard otherwise, to shine a light on injustice, and to hold the powerful accountable. We are not the enemy of the people. We are the defenders of the people. Walter Cronkite once said, freedom of the press is not just important to democracy, it is democracy.
Is CNN even taken seriously anymore? Comment down below if you still take CNN seriously, because from what I've been hearing these days is that they should just like fire the lot of them, like fire CNN, fire MSNBC and The View ASAP. You know what I mean? I don't know. But first on the chopping block, possibly Jim Acosta. So the man became a household name as CNN's chief White House correspondent when he started this antagonistic relationship with Trump and his press secretaries. And after the 2020 election, they promoted Jim Acosta to anchor at their network, first on the weekends, but eventually moving his way to weekday programming. But times have changed. Even if CNN's past leadership were supportive of Jim Acosta's constant sparring matches with the first Trump administration, now the network's current leadership, they want him to tone down the dramatics. Now, like I said earlier, CNN CEO Mark Thompson, he already pitched a move for Jim Acosta from his 1 hour slot at 10 a.m. to a 2 hour slot beginning at midnight. This is the Siberia of television news, as they call it. So liberals are up in arms as usual. They're pissed. They're losing it. Their hair's on fire. Like, many people are saying that the network is bending the knee to Trump. Do y'all agree? Or is it just about maybe trying to get the truth out and removing some of this excessive far left bias? Y'all let me know. Now, one staffer said that Jim Acosta is getting hosed by the network. Another one said that the midnight thing is shocking, but it is what it is. Now, apparently, they've even suggested that it's Jim Acosta's only path forward at the network. So the LA Times said this too. If Jim Acosta refuses to accept the midnight shift, well, he may very well exit the network, according to some people very familiar with his thinking. They've even reported that taking this midnight shift could move Jim Acosta out of CNN's DC headquarters and into the network's Los Angeles bureau. And yes, guys, even CNN confirmed that they are in active discussions with Jim Acosta about a new time slot. Now, a little bit of background for you guys. Jim Acosta, he joined CNN back in 2007, but his real claim to fame didn't come until about 10 years later. In 2017, under Jeff Zucker's leadership, not to be confused with Mark Zuckerberg, he became CNN's resident reporter in the White House briefing room. And so that's when he started making waves, getting into all these heated exchanges with Trump's press secretaries and even Trump himself. So whether you love him or you hate him, Jim Acosta built a reputation for being confrontational, and honestly, Trump boosted his profile even more by famously calling him fake news. Now, you probably remember one of Jim Acosta's most talked about moments, the 2018 press conference where Acosta famously refused to give up his microphone as he engaged in a contentious back and forth with Trump. Well, let's just say that things quickly escalated and, well, the White House actually tried to revoke his press pass. CNN fought back and said that it violated Jim Acosta's First and Fifth Amendment rights, and eventually, well, his credentials were reinstated. He definitely pushed the line on that one. But really, guys, you could say that Jim Acosta's benefited greatly from Trump because that's pretty much the only way that his whole resistance persona actually paid off. So he scored a book deal, he became a regular guest on late night TV shows, and even ended up anchoring during former President Biden's presidency. But with a new boss at CNN and a second Trump administration well underway, the question is, can Jim Acosta maintain his status at CNN's anti-Trump figure, or will he have to find a new way to stay in the spotlight and remain relevant? Drop a quick comment down below, guys. Let me know what you think about this controversial media figure. Also, don't forget to show the video some love, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. Totally appreciate you guys. All right, so Jim Acosta, he's not the only one. CNN boss Mark Thompson, he told more than 100 journalists and top on-air talent, including Jake Tapper and Anderson Cooper, to avoid editorializing as well as to steer coverage away from focusing on Trump's legal problems. I can't believe I'm saying this, guys. In short, they've officially been put on notice. Focus on Trump's second term and be open-minded about the next 4 years. Otherwise, they go the way of Jim Acosta. Now, at the end of the call, Thompson reportedly opened the floor to allow staffers to ask questions, but ain't nobody said nothing. Now, according to the article that first reported this, what Thompson and many other top brass had communicated was clear, and none of the meeting participants apparently had the desire to question the guidance. And I think we all know why. CNN has struggled to keep up with MSNBC and Fox News in the ratings race, which was reflected in the numbers for the inauguration. Fox News dominated television viewership during President Trump's inauguration, drawing 10.3 million viewers between 11:30 a.m. and 1 p.m. Eastern Time, surpassing all other networks. ABC with 4.7 million viewers, NBC 4.4 million, and CBS with 4.1 million followed. So CNN's coverage of Trump's second inauguration drew 1.135 million total views for CNN. That's it. surpassing MSNBC and peaking at 1.802 million during his oath of office and inaugural speech. Now, CNN's corporate parent as well, Warner Brothers Discovery, has made it clear it wants the network to adopt a more neutral tone in its dealings with Trump. Now, on that note, CNN boss Mark Thompson also announced 200 job cuts and a pivot to a more digital-centric strategy. So the layoffs will amount to 6% of CNN's workforce, mainly producers, editors, and other non-air talent vital to the TV operation. Now, according to Thompson, it's all to shift CNN's gravity toward the platforms and products where the audience themselves are shifting. Because it wasn't just the inauguration. CNN has struggled in the ratings department for years and finished 2024 with its smallest audience in network history among both Today viewers and among the advertiser coveted demographics of adults between the ages of 25 and 54. Now, it doesn't help either that they just keep getting themselves in bad press, like their losing of a high-profile defamation case to a Navy veteran by the name of Zachary Young. As one employee put it, being found liable for defamation and dishonesty, it's a bad thing, especially when you're a news network struggling to gain back your credibility among the American people. You know what I mean, guys? And this was a big loss. $4 million in lost earnings and $1 million in personal damages. And because this is like a settlement, I don't think that even gets taxed. So that's like $5 million after tax. Anyway, and there would have been punitive damages too if CNN and Young hadn't reached the settlement. Nonetheless, Young said he felt vindication and he's glad that it's all over. Now, it's also worth noting how CNN's own media unit has offered minimal coverage for the case. Media correspondent Hottest Gold published a short item about the verdict, and chief media analyst Brian Stelter also made brief mention of the outcome of the Reliable Sources newsletter, in addition to a blurb at the onset or at the outset of the trial on January 6th. Now, according to Grab and Search, CNN has not covered the lawsuit or the jury's decision on air at all, and probably for good reason. Young's legal team revealed CNN internal messages that called the Navy vet an S-bag and an a-hole, and another one saying that he had a punchable face. It was also revealed that Alex Marquardt, the CNN correspondent who led the on-air report, told a colleague that they're gonna nail this Zachary Young MFer. Yeah, those are probably not good words to, not a good look. Anyway, as a former CNN staffer put it, CNN should be deeply embarrassed that despite layers and layers of editorial staff, they could not perform basic journalistic functions nor overcome clear dysfunction among overpaid, arrogant TV stars playing journalists and cowardly editors. Ooh, that's quite a rant. Now, a lot would say that top of the list of arrogant TV stars would definitely have to be Jim Acosta. I mean, why else would they move him to such a no audience slot? You know what I mean? Drop a quick yes in the comments down below, guys, if you guys agree with what I'm saying here. Also, I highly recommend subscribing to the channel. Don't forget to tap that notification bell if you haven't yet. Definitely more on this and other news that matters to you and our future updates. Just make sure that you always tune in. And if you want more updates right here, right now, we got some suggested videos that are coming out for you guys right after this one. Definitely some great follow-ups to check out. As always, appreciate you guys being here. Thanks for hitting the like button and subscribing. We'll see you guys next time.